St Helens was a lovely place for grow up in. It wasn't a city, you know, where there was lots going on. It was a genteel type of place. But there was a lot of industry, hard-working people. And there was respect, which is something you don't get these days.
Yeah.
We were free to wander where we wanted to, within reason.
Yeah.
Coming in time from playing out was when it started getting dark,
Yeah.
or when your mum shouted you in.
Yeah.
You more or less played in your own little part. Like in Shaw Street, we had a park at the end of the street where we used to go and play. And then when we moved up to Clincoln Wood, we just played in the avenue with all the kids that was in our avenue. And we were sort of one gang, and the next avenue was another gang. And if we had bonfires on the field at the bottom, there was, you know, rivalry over the bonfires, and people, you know, try and set fire. But you can't have bonfires now.
Yeah.
But there again, it was more of a genteel, you know, the kids were like the kids are today, you know, they respected adults. If somebody said, don't do that,
Yeah.
you didn't do it. It was as simple as that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you get a clout round the hero. And people did do that.
What, just random people?
Yeah. And they said, now go and tell your mum, I won't see them. Well, you wouldn't tell your mum.
Yeah.
You know, if you'd done anything wrong, you wasn't going to go and admit it to your mum. So that was as far as it went. You watch what you was doing.
Yeah. So it was very...
it was very laid back and easy, you know.
Yeah.
Things started changing in the 60s, you know what I mean? And as you grow up, you start working and that, and you see things through different eyes then.
Yeah.
The best thing about being brought up in St Helens was we had Carmill Dam on the doorstep, and we used to have a little further and a little train, and we spent all our summers there. Took a bottle of water and a jam butter, and we was there for the day. It was great. It was a lovely, lovely place to be. And then the cafe at Carmill turned into a dance nightclub type of thing, disco type thing that all the kids went to, and they grew up doing that. Till eventually we started going to the grown-up dances in town. You know, when we started work, we had money, we could pay to get in these dances. There was the Co-op, of the big Co-op, what's now Wilkinson's, in the town centre. There was that was on a Friday night. On a Saturday night we went to the Plaza where the Beatles appeared and a lot of other Merseyside groups. That was on a Saturday night, and on a Sunday night we'd go to the Holy Cross dance. That was the Catholic dance, Catholic Community Hall in Corporation Street. And they had dances on there, so. And then we'd go back to the Co-op on a Thursday night. They had a dance on a Thursday night. So we was more or less dancing all our teenage years.
Yeah.
We'd go to work. I'd go to work at Woolworths on a morning and work from 9 to 5, come home, have something to eat, get washed and dressed up, for our night out dancing. And we did that for a good few years. Well, I did, till I met my husband.
My granddad.
Your granddad. And then we had went to a few of the dances, and then we got engaged and we got married, and we got married at St David's, and all our family have been in that church. Weddings, christenings, funerals, all been at St David's. It's a lovely church. It wasn't built when we first moved up here. We used to go to Hurstfinch Cong's church where I was a brownie. I joined the brownies there. And then there was a mission up the top of Moss Bank that we could go to.
What's that?
The mission, it's like a church, Moss Bank Mission.
Right, okay.
And it's had a little school on the side of it.
Yeah.
Real villagey type school. It only had one classroom. Changed a great deal. Because when I was younger, we had Pilkington's glass, and most people worked there. We had coal mines, pits, and a lot of people worked there. And we had the glass industry. No, we've done Pilks, haven't we? There was UGB as well, glass industry. So everybody was more or less employed. Worked long, hard hours. But as I said, nearly everybody was employed. They didn't have much, they didn't get much. So there was no keeping up with the Joneses. Nobody had nothing. They had to work hard for the money. And you was lucky if you had one coat. You didn't think of having a coat for best, you know, or shoes for best. You just had shoes. You went to school, you had a school mac, and that was your coat. You know, till things started picking up a bit better and people started getting more wages, you know, so that they could spend. And in the 60s, things really took off. You know, people had loads of money for spend. They called it the swinging 60s, and it was, you know, everybody was getting on better and getting more stuff. And this is when it starts with keeping up with the Joneses. You know.
So how old was you then?
Grandad was, his mum was the first one to get a television.
Yeah.
In the street. So everybody used to go in and watch the telly.
Yeah.
Till other people gone. She was the first one to get a phone. Then everybody started with phones. Now, myself, my mum and dad didn't get a telly till, you know, into the 60s. We used to have to entertain ourselves at home then, you know, when we had no television. There was my brother and two sisters and me, and we all did our own little amusing dances or telling jokes or things, you know, for the entertainment, playing the piano, singing songs, playing, you know, Ludo, games like that, jigsaws. But as I said, the swinging 60s, I was just growing up, I was going to dances. We got a television. Everybody in the street got a television. Get a phone. Everybody got a phone. Which is, you're not stuck with one in your hand all the time now. It was something having one that you could go and, you know, it rang and you went and picked it up and spoke to somebody.
Yeah.
And then cars. Your dad was Granddad was 17 when he got a car. So he was the first one of his mates to have a car. So that, going out in a car, you know, it was a luxury.
Yeah.
And for Grandad to be able to take my mum and my Auntie Joan and me to Wales, just on an ordinary day, just get in the car and go for a drive. It was absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
And the first time we did it, I was pregnant with your mum. And my mum won a great big teddy bear in Rill. And she called him Riley, and that was your mum's first teddy bear. Riley.
Yeah.
And now I've got a great grandson called Riley.
Yeah. So how's it changed? Like, how's, like, from
Well, now there's a lot
nowadays.
of unemployment.
Yeah.
People, you know, are just walking the streets. You see a lot of young girls with babies now and no husbands.
Yeah.
You know, and they're just walking round, you know, going to one another's houses, not really doing anything. No. You know, they don't seem to have any purpose in
Yeah.
life.
No aspiration.
No, they've not. But there again, today they can go to college, you know, and do things that we never were expected to do. We didn't know there was a college. We didn't know there was universities. You know what I mean? That was something that was never even dreamt of. When we were growing up. We left school at 15 and got a job, and that was it. That was your life. So it's good to be given opportunities, but when you see a lot of these kids, they just want their babies so they can get their own house.
Yeah.
Things like that, it's really disheartening.
Yeah.
You know, when you think the things that we put up with and what we ought to go through to get bits of furniture,
Yeah.
you know, and these kids today are, you know, got 42-inch televisions, cars, and they don't seem to have worked for it, you know what I mean? Half a dozen kids, and the family allowance pays for all what they want. You know, it doesn't actually go on the kids. They just get McDonald's stuck in the, you know, give the kids a McDonald's where we always had to come home for our meals.
Yeah.
We wanted feeding, we had to come home at dinner time and have your dinner. Come home at tea time, have your tea. So, yeah, it's a big change these days. Woolworths. I only got that because I couldn't swim and I was school captain and I was supposed to be swimming. And it took me all my time to do a breath at the baths. I couldn't. I used to get out of breath. So I went for this job with this girl. This girl was going to Woolworths for a job, so I went with her and I got a job there. And I was there till I had your mum, my first child. I loved it. We used to have proper counters then, and there was like hundreds of staff. Was friends with them all. All went to dances together and everything. It was I had loads of friends then. Then, when the kids were small, your granddad went to work through the day, and I got a job waiting on at Mossbank Club on a night. So I'd have the kids through the day and he'd have them through the night, put them to bed, and that till they were really grown up. I think I was 7 years at Woolworths, and I think I was 17 years at Mossbank waiting on, and I loved that. I love serving people, you know, it was talking to different people. And then after that I got a daytime job because I was fed up of working all nights. I got a daytime job for the Christmas helping out in a chip shop. And I was there for 20 years. And I loved that because that was in and out, talking to customers and having a laugh with all the girls that worked there. It's, you know, real friendly.
Like a family.
Yeah. And they're still friends to this day, even though, you know, I've been retired for years. Whenever we see one another, our arms go around one another and say hello, you know, and it's lovely to see you. Yeah. So, I've had 3 good jobs and made good friends in all of them. So...
Remember he's picking you up with my granddad from work?
Yeah.
After work, and be sat in that little lay-by just waiting for you. Yeah. Didn't you work at, like, was it the sweets counter in Woolies? Or like
no, it was the biscuit counter first.
Yeah.
I worked on the biscuit counter for about 4 years, and then I took over stationery counter and the ice creams. It had the ice cream
You
kiosk
shouldn't
at
have
the
ice
end.
cream.
And yeah, did that till I got married. And well, I worked after I got married, but when I started having your mum, I had a few problems, so packed in work. And yeah, 3 good jobs I've had.
Mm.
So